This is Techweek TV. The beginning of Techweek. We're 1/5 into Techweek TV already, or just about. And really good topics already today. And we've got another one coming up, I know, because I've just been talking to these two. And I'll just remind you that a lot of this content will be available later as well. So if you've missed a session, you'll be able to dial in and find it later. We'll tell you all about that at another time. And please do put your comments on social media. Make sure that people are aware that Techweek is on and that Techweek TV is here for the whole week as well. So, okay, good. Right, on to our final panel session for the day. A really interesting one, actually. The title here says Crafting a Love Story Between Inorganic and Organic Intelligence, which I really like. I like that title, so we'll have to really explore what that is. But please, let's welcome first of all Rachel Kelly and Luke Taylor, and they're part of the panel. You've driven up from Hamilton today, have you?
We have.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you very much. Luke and Rachel are co-CEOs, so that's going to be a topic to talk about there as well, by the way, of an organisation called Tailored Health and Performance. So maybe, Rachel, could you tell us what is Tailored Health and Performance?
Yeah, sure. Well, Tailored Health and Performance is our brick and mortar. So we have a health facility in the Waikato that services actually not only local but national and sometimes international clients that are seeking improved health outcomes.
Yeah.
And this is actually something that Luke started. It's in his name, Tailored.
Oh, nice.
His last name Taylor.
It's like a pun.
You've got to use what you got.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's good.
And that's something that Luke started about over a decade ago now.
Yeah, so I started that just through my own frustrations with the health industry, essentially. My own health journeys where I just pretty much fell through the cracks.
Right.
I got told when I was 4 years old if I wasn't active as a adolescent, I would be wheelchair bound. So obviously I was quite passionate from a young age. Then a number of other health conditions along the way, which kind of left me wanting more from the medical system. So I dove into the research and created methods for that.
That's good. So you basically took yourself on a bit of a health journey. You tailored it for yourself.
Exactly.
And along the way, learned how to help other people.
Yep.
Is that right? And so at the moment, so Tailored Health and Performance is a physical facility you can go to if you're in the Waikato, and you can learn about empowerment, self-empowerment in the health sector.
So essentially we work across, I created a philosophy which is called the 4-pillar philosophy, so mindset, lifestyle, nutrition and movement. So it's all in that order as well. Right. Often people start with movement and nutrition first because that's how people understand health, but we want to try and get people to focus on the first two pillars first because they are the foundation of what we're trying to achieve when it comes to creating that solid foundation to build upon.
Right.
And to make long-term change.
Yeah, long-term change.
So oftentimes we think, we've gained a couple of pounds or kilograms. We want to just start owning some type of physical movement practice, which oftentimes leaves you either absolutely exhausted or sometimes injured. And so the common practice is to just go hard on something like that or restrict calories. But what often happens is we find we lose motivation or we don't have the right type of mindset and lifestyle practices that support the long-term outcomes. And this is why with Luke's journey, the mindset and the lifestyle elements are the absolute foundations of the 4-pillar. Yeah.
And you start with that, and do you find through your practice then that makes it more durable, the response? People are more adherent to the process and the practices?
Oh, absolutely. It's just about long-term sustainable health because, people are just frying themselves, especially in this post-COVID world where everyone is fried, everyone is exhausted, and they're trying to layer upon more stress, and just not a recipe for success.
Very brilliant. So Rachel, how did you come to this journey?
So I was in California for a really long time, and that was something that I was in the high-tech manufacturing sector. I came from life science, so my love had been biology, biochemistry, genetics, forensic toxicology. That had been kind of my craft growing up.
Just your normal things that any good girl growing up would do,
and so when I finally came back to New Zealand, I got quite embedded into the tech sector and have been in product development design ever since, working with different startups. And I ended up getting a C-suite role at a large organisation in New Zealand. And at the time, I was struggling with some of my own health concerns, and that's where I negotiated a health stipend as a part of my executive package and reached out to Luke at Tailored Health to help design an executive wellness program.
Oh, cool.
And because I'm quite a tech girl, I love all the devices.
Just dig in and
So it was quite co-crafted experience because I was equally very emblazoned to be a part of my journey just as much as having been served in the way that we were. And so this is when we started to explore some of the world's most advanced wearables and some at-home clinical diagnostics that did not require a doctor's prescription, and together with the specialists at Tailored Health, we were able to start taking apart my biometrics, looking at my stool, my urine, my saliva.
Still, just for those of anyone out there confused.
And my genetics, looking at hormones as well. And so we were able to kind of really start giving a 360-degree perspective of what was going on in my health ecosystem. In this case, it wasn't good.
Biome sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, we call it kind of the biosphere. And that's when bioliteracy really started for us, is how do we empower more people to explore these types of things around their body and how it's manifesting illness or manifesting vibrancy, and then how do we give people the tools to be able to make better decisions because they are empowered through the tailored health model.
Isn't that cool? So basically you kind of instrument, you kind of measure using the technology that's available around the world, but now you're turning that into, as I understand it, Project Otto. Is that right?
Yep. Yes.
Tell me about Project Otto.
Okay. So Project Otto is a 2-year journey. It's actually part of a 500-year vision that we have that serves our great-great-great-great-grandchildren, because we believe fundamentally that if we don't start looking beyond our own lifespan, then we're not going to actually make true and longitudinal improvements in humanity. And the biggest issue we feel in this today's age is with the political cycles, with sort of the tenures of certain leadership expectations. You can't bridge across those generations as effectively. It's very much a Western thing. So if you look at Māori, if you look at other Indigenous Pacifica kind of populations, they do look as measures on a century scale. How do we do it by centuries? And so we're trying to bring in these sort of Indigenous, really deep, holistic ideas into health practices and what we're building as a technology set. But Project Otto is 2 years. Within a 15-year business plan and a 500-year vision. And within the next 2 years, and we've kind of preceded it with our own exploration just with the two of us and some of the diagnostics and wearables, is we're tracking 230 people, and over the course of that period of time, we're setting them up with a variety of at-home diagnostics, genetics, and wearables to help us understand and listen to their bodies. So what is their body saying? How do we become the body whisperer around understanding what does it mean to have a human body, and what does a human reference standard look like in the digital world?
But I guess more importantly, looking at the individual. So no longer is it just having the reference point, but it's actually that reference point in relation to the individual themselves. So really trying to take that individualized approach to health.
Isn't it? That sounds great. So this is really much on the cutting edge, or like on trend, if you like, in the health sector. I do a bit of work, as I was saying to you earlier, a bit of work in the health sector, and I know that understanding sort of patient-centric models of health and looking at individual genetic makeup, for example, and epigenetic factors is so important. So that we're not just chucking the same medications at everyone. Avoid them altogether if you can. And it sounds like that's part of what Project Otto's here to do.
And then the big part about it is in the second part of the project. So in the first part, we're listening. So listening to the individuals, trying to understand who are they and how their body works. So the unique composition that they have, the unique biochemistry and physiology. And then in the second part of it, that's when we start to have the interventions, and we're trying to nudge them in the right direction, because often in this day and age we're looking for those quick wins, those big changes, and this is one thing we've learned through tailored health and performance. The physical space we've had for the last 11 years is real health is slow health. Everyone wants to get the results straight away.
Give me a pill. I want to lose some weight.
But it's just, if we can just change your trajectory off by 1%, just gradually over time, you're going to change and you'll be healthier than you've ever been, and you won't even know you've done anything. I like the sound of that. Sorry, I was just having a little moment there. I think the idea that one thing that really is a breakthrough is that technology can give you the feedback loop now to see what's happening in your body, and allow you to see some results, because results actually help reinforce learning.
So that sounds like a really cool part of the project.
But it's also starting to reconnect people. So I think there's been a dramatic loss in brain-body coherence. And so what we're finding is you're either so disconnected from your body that you don't even know that you're stressed or how anxious you are or what you're actually doing to exacerbate predispositions genetically. Maybe you've got a genetic predisposition for sort of cancerous or high inflammatory diseases. We're seeing a lot more of those sort of autoimmune diseases because they're living a lifestyle or having mindset practices or not eating right to be able to protect their bodies and their minds from some of these sort of predisposed or degenerative type conditions. And so how do we start to use the tools to help people better connect with their body? So it's not trying to have some of these devices that you look on your app and you think, oh yeah, I slept really well, that must be telling me I should be feeling great. Well, no, if you're not feeling great, maybe something went a bit amiss. And it's a touch point. It's saying, look, here's a little reminder. If your heart rate's high, if your heart rate's high, your heart rate variability is low, for example, that's your ultimate lie detector. Maybe you should take it easy, which particularly in this day and age where we're such go-getters and we often just push through, we have that adage of suck it up, buttercup, just keep going. Sometimes these tools can be so powerful in just actually reconnecting ourselves and saying, maybe it's time to reschedule that meeting or not do that hardcore workout today. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's something a bit softer. Yeah, cool. I won't do that hardcore workout today. That's very good. But it's funny because a lot of times, as I was listening to you, I was thinking, relax your shoulders, David. You're kind of stressing in your shoulders. Don't know why. It's just it's the sort of thing that you do subconsciously. But as soon as you turn on your consciousness, whether that's yourself in your mind or using technology, you can realise that actually you can make some change quite quickly. Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward. So but the other thing about it you mentioned is that it's around curing loneliness and frustrations on the path to this vibrancy and health. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so health is a lonely journey, for myself, and both myself and Rach have had our own health journeys and health struggles, as for everybody, I think. I think we've all had our own different variations of health struggles, and when you're on the journey, it's lonely because nobody really understands. And often, for myself, when all the doctors and specialists said, no, I'll never be able to run again, or I won't be able to do this, I won't be able to do that, or I'll be wheelchair bound, it's very hard to accept. And when you can't find anyone around you to kind of understand that or help give you a path forward, it's very lonely. So it's trying to give the individuals that companion that can be along the journey with them to help give them the solutions, give them the answers, give them the direction that they need, and just give them hope. So that'd be part of the platform. Will be connecting people to each other to give them that sort of boost.
Potentially, So the interesting part is creating that, we call that the soft layer. So it's the soft layer and how you interact with Otto, where it becomes this best friend you wish you always had, this benevolent caregiver that wants the best for you and is genuinely trying to give you daily small nudges based on your metrics, based on what you've been eating, based on your lifestyle, based on the calendar and what you've got ahead. And Otto is there to just give you those beautiful little nudges in a way that you kind of, your intuition might tell you, or that little angel on your shoulder is, maybe I should, sleep in today, or maybe I should not watch that extra, or that burger, or extra episode of whatever it might be. Maybe I should go to sleep. And so it's really being designed to create a love story between the human that it is being a companion to, and that soft perspective in the way that it communicates, and again, just as that benevolent health provider or companion that we wish we always had growing up, or as a best friend growing up. Oh no, I had a Tamagotchi when I was growing up. It's like a Tamagotchi, but that talks to you a bit more, does it? Is that it depends on how well you took care of it.
You're the carer in this case, you're the Otto.
That is a good point, Oh yeah, I'm the Tamagotchi in this scenario. Oh my God, okay, right. Computers are taking over. Now you two, I'm just going to go off in another direction actually. You two are co-CEOs. So how does that work? Does that mean you have to consult each other every time you want to hire and fire and buy something? Or it's been an interesting journey of reflection around how do you create a powerful partnership where when you're curating an emotive product, a way to interface between a human and its AI, there's almost this similarity between how do you over-communicate or over-connect together as co-CEOs to actually birth
a product that you're both really proud of, and so we hyper-communicate. We have different signals, ways we communicate that is non-verbal. We do the black book every week, which we can talk about another time. But it's our mechanism to run through questions around what are we doing well together, what we could be doing better, what do we need to show up different today to actually give each other increase and help each other lead. And so I think being hyper-communicative in that way helps us lead better as a peer, where we can also plug each other's gaps.
Yeah, and then on top of that as well is deeply understanding us as individuals and how we work. So we know our strengths. So we've done like the Gallup Strength Finder, a whole numerous different things. We know how we learn. So for example, I'm an auditory learner where she's a read-write. So we prepare the information in ways that suits the learning style of the individual. So we kind of plug each other's holes in those ways too. Cool. Just always looking to be efficient, I guess, with the way in which we communicate, so we can be a hive mind.
And we also have a really clear essential intent. I think once you have a laser focus intent on what you're trying to build, and you both understand how important that is to the future of what you're trying to co-create, some of those hard decisions become quite easy. Because if it doesn't meet the criteria of the essential intent of the business and the product and the journey we're trying to create, then we have those clear swim lanes on when we can hire or fire or what that might look like. But we always meet the people before. Obviously, we hire, and that's a crucial part of our journey.
There's a lot. You said you were in. Were you in Silicon Valley, did you say? Or in
Los Angeles,
Los
actually.
Angeles,
yes.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, so I've done a bit of work up in that part of the world, and you'll know that sort of a lot of the thinking is around how duos really can operate really well together, and kind of design methodology. You try and work in duos or triplets or something, because you get more than double the kind of connection and output. So it sounds like you're modelling that in your business as well.
Yeah, because we haven't come across too many in New Zealand, and it was actually from Rachel's experience in California.
With co-CEOs, what they did.
I've met a few around the country, but you're right. It's they're quite often partners in not only business but life. And I think you two are too. I just sensing that. I know it's good, but that's not a bad thing. It's great. In fact, if anything, that makes me admire you even more, because that means that you're making business decisions and life decisions all the time together. So you must, that hyper communication thing must come in handy.
Yeah, it's quite scary sometimes. We will think about the same thing at exactly the same time. So I think the hive mind efforts are working. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it works for us.
The hard thing for us is setting the boundaries to know when's work time and when's personal time.
Now we've got to sort of switch it off. We can't talk about work the entire time we're at home. That's cool, but it is. I think there's a benefit to it. Clearly, it's working for you, which is great.
100%,
So when is Project Otto going to be out? When can we touch it, feel it, buy it, whatever?
Yeah. So we've spent the last 2 years going through the real R&D, doing the N=2, so pretty much doing all the kind of clinical diagnostic testing, wearable testing on ourselves. And really trying to create our own individual Ottos, so we can start to create that reference engine. And what we're planning to hit the market at the end of this year to bring people on the journey with us. So we're going to be having 230 people joining us on this journey for the next 2-year period.
Wow, so it's like a big clinical trial almost.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be great.
So, but it's for people who are just really passionate about their health and optimization, and the people around the world that we're talking to are the athletes, they're the high performance executives, they're the quantified self, the biohackers, all the way to just people who genuinely want to understand more about their body and what the genetics are saying, or maybe they've got some hereditary elements they just want to make sure that they do their very best to try to avoid. And so to bring 230 people on the journey is a delightful experience for us. 10% of those are actually gifted seats. So all of the 200 seats are paid, and then 10% of those are essentially gifted seats to minorities or indigenous cultures, because we want to make sure we get a good capture of genetic diversity as well as cultural lenses, because obviously different cultures have different experiences or expectations or values around biological samples. How do we do that in a really honourable way? So at the end of the day and at the end of the project, we can actually serve more people, and we create a technology that loves everyone equally.
That's cool. And if people are out there who are watching this now or later are interested, how might they flag their interest with you?
Yes, good.
So they would email hello@projectotto.io.
Cool.
And it should be fairly easy to find us
That's cool.
from Techweek. Yeah.
Google it, and we'll put it in the links underneath the.
And the cool thing with this project is that you can do it from anywhere in the world. So it's a global project. We're going outside New Zealand for this project because we want to get that genetic diversity.
Yeah.
So it's a big part of it. Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
Different cultures, because there's also the cultural element they have to understand with how to different cultures interact with health as well.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of lenses that we need to learn from.
Yeah. And then you've got also the regulatory settings and the privacy settings and all that sort of stuff that you've got to navigate.
Yeah.
So, gosh, good on you for taking on quite a big project. Then that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you're still going with tailored health and performance.
Yep.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So Tailored Technologies is our R&D arm, and that's really the arm that's housing Project Otto and all of the tool development, the research, and then Tailored Health and Performance from a commercial perspective is being able to take the lessons and the learnings from the Tailored Tech side to actually deliver to normal people that are genuinely wanting to make change, that believe that real health is slow health, and they want to start actually addressing their whole life and their whole health to achieve it.
Great. Well, good on you. Good luck to both of you. It sounds like a really cool company, but project and mission, and 500-year vision. That is really astounding. I applaud you for your ambition in that respect. It's the sort of thing that many New Zealand businesses could think about. What is your vision for your grandchildren's children's children? Because it puts it in a very different light, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, sure
Fantastic.